All right. It is 6 p.m. on this 11th of February. I'll call this Town Council meeting to order. Recognize that we have a quorum present. Welcome all those who are in attendance. We have a full house. This is a rarity. We really appreciate everybody showing up. And welcome to Professor Hodges' political science class. We see you out there, and welcome to the chamber. Thanks for coming down. And thanks for those who are tuned in online. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Amos,
Here.
Mr. Reed,
Here.
Mr. Dwyer,
Here.
Mr. Parrott,
Here.
Mr. Yolen,
Here.
Mr. Hunter,
Here.
Mr. Hardy.
Here.
Thank you. Next up, we have the invocation, which I will start. You're welcome to join if so inclined, or not to if so inclined. Following that, Vice Mayor Reed will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. First item is adoption of the agenda. If there are no changes, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up is declaration of personal interest. Do we have anyone who wishes to make a declaration of personal interest concerning anything on the agenda at this time? Not hearing any. We'll move into introduction of Farmville Police Department new officers. I see Chief getting up.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor, Council, it's my pleasure to introduce to you two of our newest officers. First up is Corey Taylor. Corey. Grounded in hard work, integrity, and dedication, Corey began his career as an automotive technician where he learned the value of discipline, persistence, and doing a job the right way the first time. He's always taken pride in being a jack of all trades, someone who steps up, figures things out, and doesn't back down from a challenge. Growth and continuous learning have shaped him into who he is, both personally and professionally. Today, he serves as a police officer committed to protecting others, upholding core values, and leading with professionalism, accountability, and honor, while striving to make a positive impact in our community. Welcome, Corey Taylor. Thank you, sir. Some of y'all might remember this face, Matt McMillan. Matt served in law enforcement for 12 years, nearly 5 of them with the Farmville Police Department. He left us a few years ago after serving from 2017 to 2022, where he went over and got the experience as an investigator with Prince Edward County Sheriff's Office for 5 years. He's originally from Amelia and currently lives in Ottaway County with his wife and daughter. We welcome back Matthew McMillan. And he has also come back as the rank of sergeant. Congratulations. At this time, I'd like to introduce to everyone the 2025 Police Officer of the Year, Sergeant Dalton Foley. The Officer of the Year status is awarded to an officer who has been voted upon by the command staff. Requirements shall include community involvement, commitment to the agency, and superior performance with a specific difficult task and/or a complete and consistent body of work throughout the year that exceeds normal expectations. Submissions by officers and supervisors are reviewed by the command staff and determine which officer has exhibited excellence in their position and gone above and beyond the call of duty. This is the third highest award the department can bestow on a member and is accompanied by a uniform pin that may be worn throughout the year. The Officer of the Year recipient is also the department's nominee to receive the VFW Law Enforcement Award. Throughout his service as Sergeant, Dalton has consistently demonstrated exceptional professionalism, integrity, and commitment to excellence. His leadership has set a standard for those on his squad, fostering a culture of accountability, teamwork, and respect. His commitment to training and advocating for modern equipment for the department serves to better our agency. His actions consistently mirror our mission as a department of providing a safe and secure community through excellence in public service. Please join me in commending Sergeant Dalton Foley. Thank y'all.
Oh, Sergeant Foley has enough room on his mantelpiece for all these accolades. He keeps showing up here at these meetings. Well done. And welcome to the new officers. You joined a pretty great team, and we're always proud of our law enforcement here in the town of Farmville. They do a great job, so welcome. Next up is presentation on FY 2026-2027 projected revenues. Mr. Davis.
Mayor, members of council, you have in front of you that was handed out the projected revenues that's been projected for this upcoming fiscal year 26-27. You'll notice on this sheet that there are prior years for you to look at. Also, the estimated full actual year of the year we're in, and then what the budget was for this current year when we went into it. When you look at it, when comparing the FY 27 projected budget to the 26 original budget and actual revenues, it is important to note that several items included in prior years were one-time use of set-aside funds or fund balance that will not be required in the current year. When those items are excluded and the comparison is limited strictly to recurring revenue sources, FY 27 projected revenues are slightly higher than prior years, conservatively higher. When the general fund prior year budget included the planned use of set-aside funds and other non-recurring items that reduce the need for revenue in those years. Because those items are not anticipated in 27, the projected revenues more closely reflect ongoing operations. On a revenue-to-revenue comparison, 27 projections are modestly above recent actuals, indicating stable growth rather than reliance on one-time funding sources. For the other funds, which would be 15, 40, 42, 44, and 45. FY 27 projected revenues appear lower than 26 original budget, primarily because fund balance was used in prior years to support operations. At this time, it is not known whether fund balance will be required in 27, so it has not been included in the projected revenue amounts. Additionally, in 27, projected revenues are lower than the 26 estimated full year actuals due to a conservative forecasting approach. Projections were calculated using a multi-year historical review of actual revenues, which results in more cautious estimates. This approach intentionally avoids overestimating revenues and helps to ensure the budget remains sustainable should revenues fluctuate. Overall, the FY 27 revenue projections reflect a conservative and realistic outlook, emphasizing recurring revenues, limited reliance on fund balance, and maintaining financial stability. So, as you know, I usually provide this going into the budget season before we actually give you the full budget package that has all the expenditures. If you have any questions, feel free. And I have a person that can answer them for you.
Any questions at this time?
I'm assuming that when we look back at the 25, 24, 23, and 22, the actual budgets compared to what is projected for the 27, that's more realistic in the numbers as far as what we can expect for 27. Am I correct?
The 25, 24, 23, and 22 are actual, that's how we finished.
Right. And so we're projecting ahead of the game for 27 modestly.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any additional questions at this time? All right, we'll get to digest that. Next item is public comment period. Mr. McKay, do we have anyone signed up for public comment period this evening?
Morgan Donovan.
Good evening, honorable council members. I'm Morgan Donovan. I'm representing the majority of the hangar owners, ground lease holders over at the airport. There are still a few points of contention in the ground lease for the hangars. In a previous council meeting, the issues were, we thought, adequately addressed by Mr. Hardy's motion concerning the insurance for only liability coverage, and Mr. Elder's clarification comments that we existing lessees could in fact renew or renegotiate at the conclusion of the 20-year term. These points did not get incorporated into the lease copies mailed out to us dated December 29th and postmarked January the 8th, 2026. I have provided Ms. McKay with a copy of Redline leases for all of y'all to have that address the issues as we lessees see it that I've given to Ms. McKay. Pages are numbered. Page numbers are 4. On pages, what did I write here? Page numbers, 4 words to be added and 12 words to be removed in the proposed lease. The pages are not numbered. I made my living reading contracts, and this is the first legal document I've ever been encountered with where the pages are not numbered. Article 1 still only allows the sale to the town or a third party, no provision for the current lessee to renew or renegotiate after the 20-year term. Gary Elder said in the meeting that it's implied that we can renegotiate. And I had a later phone call with Gary about the same subject. If it's implied, why not just write it in there and be done with it? All you have to do is add these words, renegotiate this lease, or. Article 4, insurance, is still requiring coverage for the contents and replacement value of the structure, which the town has no insurable interest in our contents or the structure, as per my insurance agent, who may or may not be here tonight, Don Gant Insurance. Other than these 16 words, we have no other objections to the lease as it was written. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McKay, have anyone else signed up to speak for public comment period?
Jacob Romaine.
Good evening, Mayor, members of Town Council, and Dr. Davis. Thank you. I'm a property owner and investor here in Farmville. The way the town manages its infrastructure directly affects my property values and my business. Everything I'm about to say comes from the town's own adopted budget documents. Last year's budget, page 4 of the FY 2025 budget, made a promise. I'll quote it. "We are pleased to announce the first budget without any transfers from the water and sewer funds to support the general fund." And the old line items are gone. But pages 65 and 70, transfer to the general fund, are zeroed out. But page 10 has a new line item called Reimbursement Fund 10 Admin Serve for $838,000 from the same water and sewer fund to the same general fund. The transfer didn't stop, it just got a new name. That matters because what's happening right now. Since Thanksgiving, at least 6 emergency water and sewer situations, a pump station facing costly replacement, and a massive hole in Venerable Street with no cost estimate in sight. Yes, these funds pay salaries, electricity, chemicals, and keep the system running day to day. There is also about $1.2 million in capital spending, but look at what it's for. Loaders, backhoes, trucks, and tractors. That's equipment for the crews, but not a single dollar is budgeted to replace pipes in the ground. No water main replacement program, no sewer line rehabilitation, no capital plan for distribution or collection systems themselves. Meanwhile, that transfer from the capital account to the general fund is still happening. I also want to touch on the proposal for the town to close offices on Friday. I understand it's off the table for now, but I bring it up because it speaks to a broader question about where we're headed. If what we want are better employees, then we should, and as we should pay more. Give them a raise that they can take to the bank. That's how you attract quality people. Paying someone not to work is not a benefit. It's a cost with no return. We raised real estate taxes 2.4 times, from 9 cents to 22 cents per hundred. Residents are paying more than ever. Are we thinking about the future with a growth mindset? Closing the doors to the public's not the answer. Opening them wider is. I'll close with this. It was said, we're one election away from chaos. I don't see it that way. I see people who care about this town and want to see it thrive. If we invest in our infrastructure and invest in our people and have the courage to think bigger, then the future looks bright. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McKay, do we have anyone else signed up to speak?
Magnus Wyman.
Honorable Council members, my name is Magnus Weiman. I'm an FAA certified flight instructor, providing flight instruction out of the Farmville Airport. And I also own one of the hangars at the airport, which I use to store my aircraft. And I have the same objections as Mr. Donovan just presented, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time by repeating those. I just want to let you all know that I second everything that Mr. Donovan said, and I hope that you will take that into consideration and provide us with a new lease that have those minor adjustments so that we can get our new leases signed. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McKay, do we have anyone else signed up to speak?
No one signed up.
All right. Is there anyone who wished to have signed up and has not? All right, we'll close public comment period. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. You have the draft minutes of the 2026-01-07 work session, 01-14 regular council meeting, and 01-21 town council special meeting before you. If there are no changes, do I hear a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up is the finance report, July 2026. Ms. Julie Moore.
You have the January financial reports in front of you. For VIP, we earned $12,473. For the sweep accounts, we earned $4,625. For LGIP, it was $26,292. And then the SNAP accounts, which is where the 15.1 million bond money went. For December, we earned $33,828, and then in January, it was $42,981. So the total was $76,809. So in total, when you count the December SNAP amount too, we earned $120,199. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Moore at this time? Not here today. Thank you. Having heard the January 2026 finance report, do I hear a motion to adopt the finance report as presented?
I'll make a motion to adopt the finance report as presented.
Motion second. All in favor? Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next up is some old business. First item of old business is a discussion on the proposed pay plan, which we began last week at the work session. Mr. Davis?
Mayor, I don't have anything else to add. Just bringing it back on the agenda to see if there's any questions, comments. The pay study consultant provided you with a more detailed as you had asked. And so wanted to put it back on the agenda to see if there was any comments or questions or how you wanted us to move forward in building the FY27 budget.
Any discussion from council on proposed pay scale?
Where are the, I beg your pardon, where are the answers to the questions? I don't see that here. Is it included in the files we got here?
No, I emailed it last week.
My apologies. Go ahead.
Just a couple. Kind of curious as to why the study is, and it could probably be pretty easily answered, why the study is only accounting for pay comparison with these other municipalities, and wouldn't it be a more true comparison and give us a much broader picture for us to look at and judge by if we had the benefits that the employees on those other municipalities had as well? Because I don't know where we are, but I feel like we got pretty doggone good benefits in Farmville, and I think everybody loves it. And if the pay plan was compared to the private sector, are the pay and benefits comparable? Because she was talking about the private sector last week when she was talking about it. Because people were leaving the upper level jobs for private sector jobs. And are those same positions in the private sector equally compensated? For example, the health insurance, paid time off, holidays, life insurance, and long-term care insurance, and et cetera, other benefits. And somebody was saying to me just today, they said, shouldn't we be benchmarking the job, not the employers? So that was pretty much it. And somebody else had said that the young employees tend to look at the dollar and not the benefits as to how much they can stick in their bank accounts. And they'll start looking at those benefits when they're working on owning a home and having a family. I'm not saying we don't need to make changes. I just want to make a really informed decision for our constituents. I'll give this to you after, just if you'd like to answer them anytime.
So all of those are questions, or some of them comments?
Some comments, and one of the questions, if you'd like to try to address, that'd be great. Why is the study done only to account for pay comparison and not pay and benefits? Because that would give us a much broader picture.
Yeah, I think I answered that in the email you had sent to all of council. Not all localities are in VRS. We weren't at one time. They all don't have the same insurance carrier or plans. Some have even us. If you're in the hybrid plan for VRS, there's a different short-term disability than if you are in Plan 1 or 2 of VRS. So there's a lot of different differentiations between that I don't know that you would be comparing apples to apples.
I don't think it would necessarily be an apples to apples comparison, because my thoughts is I'm guessing ours are better. And I just, it'd be good to see what that comparison is in the sense that, okay, everybody's got these benefits and they're of a value of X, and ours is a value of Y, which is greater than X. And that just to have a better comparison.
So you're asking for a benefit study, because a pay study doesn't include benefits.
I'm not asking for a benefit study, but I wasn't sure whether a pay study included all of that as well, because when benefits are technically a part of your income to a point.
No, it's not traditionally part of a pay study.
Sir, I was just going to ask you, do you need an answer from us tonight as far as this pay plan study is concerned?
I mean, that's totally up to you all. If I don't have where you want to move forward, I can build the budget on all the expenses other than pay.
It's very complicated, to say the least.
Well, we could have another meeting specifically on the pay scale.
I'd like to
later.
know where everybody's head is. I mean, I'm for this plan, and I was hoping that we would all be for this. So I'd like to know what everybody's thinking, honestly.
I'd like to hold off for one more month. Maybe have another special meeting like you were talking about, Mayor.
Is that for the purpose of the discussing benefits?
Yes.
So let me understand this correctly. So a special meeting or just the work session in March?
We can go work session,
Okay.
no problem at all.
On the pay?
Specifically on the payment.
So do you want a benefit study? Because that's not going to be done by March.
I think our benefits are pretty extraordinary for what we've got, and that's okay. I think we're focused on the pay bands. I think we've got to make an effort to get everyone up to where we need to be competitive on that, specifically fiscally.
That's what it's for.
I thought that's what we had just got through.
That's what the proposed pay plan is about.
Yes, I just haven't had a chance to review it as much as I'd like.
I agree with Ms. Amos. I think what's proposed is very good.
I like what's proposed. I have a very good understanding of it. But we need to get Scott the numbers, Dr. Davis the numbers, so he can get his job done.
The work session's fine. It'll just be later. I won't be presenting the budget the following week like I normally do in March. It'll be in April.
When is this pay band, when is this supposed to take place, this increase?
Oh, it wouldn't take effect till July 1.
So pushing it off until the work session is not going to affect that date at all, right?
No, I have to have, it pushes us developing the formal budget for me to present everything, a formalized budget, a manager's recommended budget later in this fiscal year. So we have to have a budget no later than June 30 of, so the process is that you all agree on certain things up front. I provide you the budget, you go through it. If you want to make changes, we have those work sessions, and then we get to a place where everybody's comfortable. We have to have a public hearing. We have to wait 1 week from the public hearing in order to approve the budget.
Right, just would delay the process. Say the pay scale got put in during the budget process, we ran into some issues.
Then we'll change it.
So
How about this? We'll build it with the pay plan, and then if it changes, we'll make the changes. That way we won't be behind.
That sounds great.
Is everybody amenable to that? Council, all right, building it in there? All right, build it in there. All right, request adoption of Resolution 2026-0202, authorizing the transfer of funds from the wastewater treatment plant contingency fund to cover the cost of the High Street Sewer Pump Station engineering study in an amount of $81,261. Mr. Davis.
So y'all approved the signature of the contract, but I didn't have the resolution to move the money at the time. So this is just moving the money in order to pay for it.
Any discussion at this time?
I make a motion that we adopt the resolution number 2026-0202, authorizing the transfer of funds from the wastewater treatment plant contingency fund to cover the cost of the High Street Sewer Pump Station engineering study in the amount of $81,261.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. We'll roll into new business. First item on new business is request adoption of resolution approving the Farmville IDA's issuance of an educational facilities revenue bond not to exceed $29,500,000 to assist the Longwood Real Estate Foundation or one or more wholly owned affiliated entities. Mr. Davis.
Mayor, you may recall the council has done this on several different occasions. There is a representative here, representatives of the Longwood University Foundation, Real Estate Foundation, I should clarify that, and their bond attorney. You will remember that each time that the foundation does this, they go through the IDA in order to get tax-exempt bonds. It's a mechanism, but I have Mr. Richard Hurlbert here today, who is their attorney that can explain that for you once again, because it's been several years. It might have been the High Rise was the last one, I'm not sure. That too, JPB, one of those buildings over there. And so he can explain what this is. The IDA has already held the public hearing. They have approved, and now it needs to come before council as well. Mr. Hurlbert, Mayor, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. I recognize this gentleman. Welcome back.
Thanks very much. Good evening, everybody. Mr. Mayor, members of council, and Dr. Davis. Richard Hurlbert. I'm a bond lawyer from Richmond, and it's good to see you all again. It's this is a little bit of a different transaction than the last time I was here with you all, but it's a different flavor of really the same financing approach. Just a quick primer on sort of the process here. Unlike the town's general obligation bonds that y'all issued last year, which are, a pledge of the full faith and credit of the town, and so absolutely no way around paying that debt back, but for the town. These bonds are a type of so-called private activity bonds, so not a governmental bond like the town's bond was, but this is a qualified 501c3 bond, which the proceeds of the sale of the bond will be loaned to the Longwood Housing Foundation, which is a wholly owned affiliate of the Longwood Real Estate Foundation, and they will borrow those funds and deploy those funds in paying the costs of fairly material costs of heating, ventilation, air conditioning improvements, roofs, and related sorts of improvements, which you can see in this resolution here on the first page. It's a fairly extensive listing. These are not a pledge of the full faith and credit of the town. The town has no obligation whatsoever with regard to this debt. These are revenue bonds issued by the IDA and payable only from the revenues that are generated from the operation of the project, actually generated from the loan agreement, which is the instrument that the foundation will execute to evidence its obligation to repay this debt. So very, very different structure than what we were dealing with last year with the town's bonds. This is one of, several different types of so-called private activity bonds that the code authorizes to be issued. These are qualified 501c3 bonds. Other examples that you might be familiar with, certain types of manufacturing facilities can be the beneficiary of tax-exempt bonds, which would be issued by a development authority like the Farmville IDA. So-called exempt facility bonds is another example. Multifamily housing, low-income housing projects are one sort of flavor of that type of bond. This is a qualified 501c3 bond, which is another type of bond. The policy perspective that the government has is that it's a good thing to allow certain types of businesses, including exempt organizations like the foundation, to be the beneficiary of tax-exempt interest rates, to encourage them to go out and do the things that they are authorized to do and enabled to do by virtue of their exempt status. So that's a quick overview. The process for issuing bonds through the IDA is really kind of a three-step process. And as Dr. Davis mentioned, the IDA had a meeting last month and held a public hearing, which is required under the federal tax law. So we go through that first step called the inducement phase. And so that resolution was adopted by the IDA last month. You all, as the highest elected governing body of the town, also having to appoint the members of the IDA. So the statute requires that the elected body approve the issuance by the IDA of these bonds. That's what we're about tonight. That's what this resolution will accomplish. And then sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll hopefully be able to get together with the IDA again, present the final financing documents to them, which are being drafted right now. Well, not right now, but in process right now. And we'll present those to the IDA, give them an explanation of the plan of finance, and ultimately, hopefully, secure their approval of those documents. And then we'll go forward from that point, and within the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so, try to close and issue the bonds. And that's sort of the process for this type of a bond issuance. So that's my little overview. I'm happy to field any questions that you might have on the bond side of things or on the resolution. And if you have questions that are more project specific, we have the experts here from the foundation who can recite those details much better than I can. So happy to field any questions that you have, whether they're project related or bond related.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions from council regarding the bond at this time or the project? Sounds like you covered it, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, does anyone have a motion to adopt resolution approving the FIDA's issuance of its educational facilities revenue bonds?
I make a motion, we adopt the resolution approving the FIDA's issuance of its educational facilities revenue bonds not to exceed $29,500,000 to assist the Longwood Real Estate Foundation or one or more wholly owned affiliated entities.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion at this time? Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen. Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
the motion passes.
Thank you. Next up is request adoption of resolution number 2026-0201, authorizing the transfer of funds from the Water Contingency Fund in an amount of $60,000 for the purchase of a backwash pump and authorizing the town manager to execute the associated quote. Mr. Davis.
Mayor, members of council, this is an important piece of producing drinking water, and it's a piece that went bad. We have a workaround right now, but it needs to be replaced as soon as possible. It's one of those, like, you don't know when the water pump on your car is going bad, but the water pump in your car went bad.
I make a motion that we adopt the resolution number 2026-0201, authorizing the transfer of funds from the Water Contingency Fund in the amount of not to exceed $60,000 for the purchase of a backwash pump and authorize town manager to execute the associated quote.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion? Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next up in new business, request adoption of resolution number 2026-0203, authorizing the transfer of funds from the wastewater treatment plant contingency fund to cover the cost of a culvert engineering study for Venable Street and 4th, and authorizing the town manager to execute the associated proposal. Mr. Davis.
We put out a RFP. We chose a entity to do this work. This will give us a study of not just the part that failed, but the whole culvert and also down 4th where it continues to end, so that we can look at what it would be and what are some of the other potential problems with that culvert, instead of just piecemealing it with the piece that is gone bad.
Any questions at this time?
I move that we adopt resolution number 2026-02-03.
Second.
Motion and second. Any additional discussion? Mr. Cave, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yep.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Well, that concludes the new business. And now we're on to the town manager's report. Mr. Davis.
Just so you all know, I did send an email to the contacts that have been before you from Dominion regarding the street lights and what councils would like to see done. I have not heard back, but that has been sent to them, just so you know. We issued a solicitation for fixed-based operator services at the airport that closes on March 25th. We also issued solicitation for street paving for this fiscal year. That's in the CIP and already planned, and that closes on March the 18th. And then another item that I'm going to add back to the work session, since at the previous meeting, I think it was December, it was not feasible to use the building out at Wilkes Lake, that area, as a restroom. So I'm going to bring that back to see where we revisit how we want to move forward with bathrooms at that location for further discussion. That's all I have right now.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Go around the table. Mr. Hardy.
Real quick on the lease, just a question about, obviously, the removing of words would not be a big deal, but would adding the words, something we would need to discuss, but would adding the words that that the airport lessees request to renegotiate with the town, or would that change it or change the whole, would that be adding to, or since it is implied based on what Mr. Elder said, would we be able to just add those words and it be okay?
That would be an attorney question.
Mr. Elder and I brought haven't done anything, and we shared that with Mr. Donovan, is we can't make, he asked us to make the changes. We can't make any changes once council has approved the lease. And so that, I believe that's why he
Correct.
came to ask.
Has anybody already signed the lease? Do we have people who have signed
We
the
have
lease?
six
Six?
of 19 tenants who've already signed.
19 tenants have already signed? Is that-
No, 6 of 19.
6 of 19, okay, gotcha. Mr. Elder?
So I think that my memory on this might be a little foggy, but I think we had actually discussed this and we had bounced around some different ideas of how to word this. Ultimately, you all give me direction and we'll draft it however you'd like for it to read. I think it's implied. I don't think it hurts to add it in. I think the idea was there was some hesitancy to say that we shall renegotiate the lease because maybe we might not want to renegotiate the lease. That'll be up to whatever council is here at that time. Maybe some of you, maybe me standing here, who knows? That's a long way away. But I think if you were to add that language, my recommendation would probably be to say that the town shall have the option to enter into some type of renegotiation. Otherwise, the negotiation will center around the purchase. Because again, I think we had bounced this around, and I think where council stood was we don't want to bind ourselves to have to renegotiate a lease. But if council wants to include language that includes the option to do so, that might be a good approach.
How do you feel about that?
It's hard for me to want to draft a legal document that's going to bind us to do something that a future council or the future sentiment where we may not want to do that. It's in my view, it's as the town's attorney, it's best for us to keep our options open and not bind ourselves to having to renegotiate a lease that we may not want to have to renegotiate. If you just look at the way the proposal is worded, it says, at the expiration or termination of this lease, the town and lessee shall renegotiate this lease or negotiate the purchase by the town. That language is a little too binding upon the town for my taste.
That's exactly what I want to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
And the other piece with the insurance where I basically, when I made the motion, I said just liability insurance only and the basically to remove the parts about the contents and improvements and on a replacement cost basis. So that was the only other thing that I remember that's the way that motion kind of went.
Yeah,
I have a copy of I don't have it with me, but it was to, off of memory, it was to correct grammatical errors and to change it to liability insurance.
Yeah, and Mr. Donovan pointed out, he called me about that, and I enjoyed talking to Mr. Donovan. I always like talking to him, but I explained to him the same thing I explained to you all. I don't have the authority on my own to just go redraft a lease agreement. And I also explained to him, you are right now hearing from someone who is the furthest thing possible from an expert on insurance. So if liability insurance alone gets us where we need to be and that covers it, then again, that's fine with me. If that's how you all want it drafted, it's ultimately up to you guys.
So the question is, do you want me and Mr. Elder to bring another one back to council? And you can vote on a new lease? And the other question is, do we have to have an additional public hearing based on those changes?
How does does that impact at all the 6 leases already signed in any way?
I don't think we would have to have another public hearing because I don't think it's necessarily becoming anything more onerous for the people on the other side of the lease agreement. So I don't think it would require another public hearing. I agree with Dr. Davis. If you all want to revisit it, we can modify the language. I think for the most part, what's in here from my view, the proposed changes, I don't have any real problem with the exception of, again, I don't think I would say that we shall renegotiate the lease. So.
And the question is how would that affect the 6 that already had signed? Would they just get this new lease to redo instead of using the one that is this one?
I can't imagine they would have any objection to signing it because I think it's probably more beneficial to the tenant. So my suspicion is they would probably be happy to sign that.
We can contact them as well and figure that out, who is amenable.
Yeah.
So do you want this lease again brought back to council with revisions?
As long as the liability insurance is going to cover what it's going to cover, that's the main part for me.
Yes.
I think last time we had discussed, I think there was a concern primarily that it cover other structures that might be damaged by a fire or something of that nature.
And that's where the liability insurance comes in.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yes, I get. No, we're good. Consensus seems to be bringing back.
Great.
Thanks. Mr. Hunter.
I have nothing but thank you to the new officers. Thank you to the class for coming out. And for the promotion for the police department. And that's all I have.
Mr. Yola.
Nice to see the seats filled. Thank you very much for coming.
Mr. Parrott.
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dwyer.
Not a thing, Mayor.
Mr. Reed.
Not a thing tonight.
Ms. Amos. I'll be brief as well. I will say one thing, if the Farmville Herald, who usually listens to this meeting or watches, I think there might have been a misconstrue of what transpired in the work session as it labeled council members criticizing some of the public works folks, and I don't recall that happening in our council meeting last meeting. And so I would just ask that they review that and maybe if they deem fit to issue a correction there. Something I noticed as I read the paper the other day. Which is to say, to Public Works and to Public Safety, thank you for the work you did once again. I know I spoke that onto the microphone in work session, but once again, thank you for the work that you do for the town. Recognize, talking to mayors from across Virginia here recently, last week in Richmond, that everybody faced similar daunting task with something we'd never heard of, which was snowcrete. That was a new word for me. And it definitely brought its fair share of problems. So thank you for all of your work in not only clearing our streets, but for public safety's work in keeping us safe and on time and taking care of business. We appreciate y'all and the way that you work together. Thank you. With that, we have a closed session. I would ask Mr. Dwyer to read us in.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Farmville Town Council convene a closed meeting pursuant to the Code of Virginia in accordance with the provisions of 2.2-3711A. Point 1, discussion of salaries for the upcoming budget for the town manager and clerk of council as appointees, the performance of the town manager, and discussions and consideration of prospective candidates for the appointments to the Board of Zoning Appeals and Farmville Industrial Development Authority, and 2.2-3711A.3, discussion of consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or the disposition of publicly held real estate or property, where a discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, and 2.2-3711A.29, discussion of the award of public contract involving the expenditure of public funds including interviews of bidders and offerers and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, or discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position of or negotiating strategy of the public body.
That was a full mouth load right there. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Did I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. Beckman, roll call, please.
Mr. Yolen? Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Thank you. This may be a long one, but we'll be out on the other side. Thank you.
I haven't seen it until today, so
broccoli, or I love asparagus.
Mr. Dwyer, you read us back in, please.
Whereas the Farmville Town Council has convened a closed meeting on this day pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the Farmville Town Council that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Farmville Town Council hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meetings requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed session meeting to which this certification resolution applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Farmville Town Council.
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
All right. Coming out of closed session, do we have any motions to move on the floor? Mr. Reed?
Thank you. Board of Zoning Appeals, Pam Butler and Penny Parrott resigned, and their term expired on 12/30/2025. I would like to make a motion to recommend to the Circuit Court appointment of Kyle Campbell and Ebony Lee to the Board of Zoning Appeals with terms expiring 12/30/2030.
Second.
Motion and second. Mr. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Is there an additional reappointment motion, Mr. Reed?
Yes. John Miller term is set to expire on February 28th, 2026, and he seeks reappointment. I would like to make a motion to the Circuit Court to recommend the reappointment of John Miller to the Board of Zoning Appeals with the term expiring February 28th, 2031.
Second.
Motion and second. Mr. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Next up, do we have a motion on the floor concerning the Industrial Development Authority?
Yes, Lee Lunsford resigned effective 1/7/26 with an unexpired term ending on 2/28/26. I make a motion to recommend to the Circuit Court appointment of Thomas Grego to the Farmville Industrial Development Authority with a term expiring of 2/28/2030.
IDA does not have to go to Circuit Court. Just withdraw that motion.
I'll withdraw that previous motion. And I'd like to make another motion. I would make a motion to recommend Thomas Grego to the Farmville Industrial Development Authority with a term expiring on 2/28/30.
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. McKay, can I roll call, please?
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
The motion passes.
All right. Jason Matthias resigned effective 1/27/26 with an unexpired term of 2/28/28. I make a motion to recommend Hunter Harris to the Farmville Industrial Development Authority to fill Jason Matthias's unexpired term of 2/28/28.
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. McKay, roll call, please.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Jason Hatfield, Teresa Stewart, and Paula Ellison's terms are set to expire on 2/28/26, and they all seek reappointment. I make a motion to recommend Jason Hatfield, Teresa Stewart, and Paula Ellison to the Farmville Industrial Development Authority with terms ending 2/28/30.
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. McKay, roll call, please.
Mr. Yolen?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Hardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Amos?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Parrott?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Ms. McKay. All right, with all those appointments, do we have any other business to come before this council at this time?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
I just want to request for councils our size, or the board of supervisors our size, with the population we have, to see the salaries of those. Can we get that by the next meeting, if possible?
The salaries, yes.
Thank you.
But, work session, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other business at this time? Without any other business, do I entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.